WoW arenas, whether it be 2v2s or 3v3s, have always been an absolute blast for most of the player base. The only time arenas is ever really boring is when your class just flat out doesn't perform well in them. Today we're here to point you in the right direction, with 5 insanely powerful specializations in arenas in Wrath of the Lich King. Kicking off things at number 1, we have the Arms Warrior. Warrior is always a solid option in the arena. Very high consistent damage that just needs a bit of support to really become unstoppable. But what if I told you they get incredibly stronger in Wrath? Starting things off, the Warrior gets some new key abilities like Shattering Throw. Having the ability to get rid of those pesky bubbles and ice blocks, as well as Enraged Generation for a nice healing defensive. With a high consistent damage rotation including Rend, Mortal Strike, Execute, and Overpower, Warrior is full of consistent pressure. Making things even better, having the new talents like Sudden Death, which allows the use of Execute regardless of health, and much more overpowers with the Taste for Blood talent. To make one of their main abilities even stronger, the Unrelenting Assault talent causes your overpower on an enemy casting to have their damage and healing reduced for 6 seconds, while also increasing the damage of overpower by 20%. What makes this absolutely insane is the fact that it stacks with your Mortal Wounds debuff. If you apply this and your Mortal Strike debuff at once, it reduces the healing up to 75%. To cap it all off, the legendary ability Blade Storm. This makes you unstoppable for the next 6 seconds, dealing massive AoE damage to all targets near you. This is one of the coolest warrior abilities ever, and I know we've all seen it in those old Swifty PvP videos. The Arms Warrior pairs best with other high pressure melee cleave classes, like Death Knight, Retribution Paladin, and Enhancement Shaman. Moving along to number 2, Feral Druid. The Feral Druid is definitely an underappreciated arena performer in Wrath of the Lich King. With the ability to toss out instant cast cyclones or healing due to predatory strikes, massive damage and crowd control from their brand new offensive cooldown Berserk, and the Feral Druid version of Kidney Shot, Maim, makes Feral a much bigger contender in 3v3 arenas. On top of having their high damage over time abilities, they now have some access to mini go windows due to Tiger's Fury costing no energy and giving you a nice buff for a short period. Now all this damage is nice, but we can't seem to forget about the biggest issues with Feral: raw defensives. With the new expansion, they are supplied with the addition of their brand new defensive Survival Instinct, a 30% maximum health increase for a whopping 20 seconds. Adding this to the very high mobility and instant healing on yourself, Feral becomes a much stronger and is very powerful come Wrath. The Feral Druid pairs best with Hunters as well as Arms Warriors. Moving on to number 3, the powerful Elemental Shaman. Known for some of the highest burst damage in the game. With the addition to a consistent pressure ability with Lava Burst and now obtaining a new passive, Lightning Overload for their Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning abilities, Shaman is once again, with no shocker here, incredibly bursty again. Adding this with their incredibly buffed new Elemental Mastery, they can get a Lava Burst and potentially 2 Chain Lightnings in one global cooldown. They also gain access to much needed Pressure Diffuser in Thunderstorm. Don't forget about the fact that Shaman also brings insane utility baked into the kit, with all their totems buffing the team, as well as having Grounding Totem and Purge. It's very obvious that having the highest burst damage of the game paired with amazing utility will earn you a place on this list. Elemental Shaman pairs well with Warlocks, Arms Warrior, and Shadow Priest. Going along now to number 4, the Unholy Death Knight. With having access to great survivability due to Anti-Magic Zone and Bone Shield, Death Knights are definitely the more beefy class in WoW. High CC from their consistent slows from Desecration, which will literally always plague the arena, and having Chains of Ice, a massive slow on the target. It makes it very, very difficult to get away from Death Knights in general. If you think those are the best things about Unholy, you have another thing coming. Their powerful offensive cooldown Gargoyle has the potential to kill targets completely by itself. The only downside is that it can be CC'd. The Unholy Death Knight is a plague to the arena and is absolutely insane in the right hands. With constant CC, powerful burst cooldowns, and great team utility, Death Knight is incredible come Wrath of the Lich King. Unholy Death Knights pair well with Rep Paladins and Arms Warriors. Moving on to by far the most broken healer in Wrath of the Lich King, the Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin is truly a real healing game changer come Wrath of the Lich King. Huge chunky heals, almost infinite mana, and an absolute ton of powerful cooldowns to change the tide of battle. Adding things like Sacred Cleanse for a 30% increase to resistance chance on disease, magic, and poison effects after your cleanse, and the ability to toss out Flash of Lights instantly when you critically strike with Holy Shock, with the new infusion of light talent, makes you incredibly strong in a PvP scenario. Finally, capping it all off, Beacon of Light ability. Using this on a party member allows you to heal others and duplicate that healing onto the beacon target, making Holy Paladins very powerful in a 3v3 scenario. Add all this with the already baked in incredibly powerful defensives, insane utility, and the ability to wear plate, it's without a doubt Holy Paladin becomes the strongest PvP healer in Wrath. Having the ability to heal you and your teammate at the expense of no mana is incredibly strong in 2v2, and pairing that with the high damage arms warrior is a match made in heaven. As you can see in Wrath of the Lich King, there are some incredibly powerful PvP classes. In my opinion, when you really want to display your set of skills, you take yourself and a couple of buddies and you hop into that arena, taking on everyone and everything that steps out of that gate. The grind of all of it, creating your character, leveling up, completing countless quests and raids, all to hit max level. Then when you get there, you go out in the world, help people in need, and slay countless bosses to get the best loot possible, or go into battlegrounds to slay endless horde or alliance. Then when you finally get your gear and the PvP season starts, boom, you got yourself into one of the most competitive PvP scenes you can get into, with the ability to get titles, mounts, and gear to really show off your glory. This is the time. The time for you to show Azeroth what you really got. Wrath of the Lich King is the time for new opportunity, especially with the announcement and launch of fresh servers. Everyone will be on an equal field, no more excuses, it's time to dominate the arena. As you can see in Wrath of the Lich King, there are some incredibly powerful PvP classes. We're going to be doing more powerful arena class lists for Wrath in the future, so make sure you stay tuned. We have this right around the corner within the next couple of months, and we here at the Comeback Kids are super excited. With the announcement of the fresh servers for Wrath of the Lich King, we have made the decision that we are going to be leveling on there with our community. The opportunity for a completely fresh start in one of WoW's best expansions ever is something we absolutely cannot pass up on. If you all are interested, be on the lookout for updates about our plans in the future, when we're going to be leveling, when the server will be announced, etc. We absolutely love to engage with our community, so if you want to join us on the shores of Northrend come Wrath of the Lich King launch day, be sure to join us on the US East PvP server. If you made it to the end of the video, please do me the favor of leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. I want to thank you all for watching this video. My name's Sky from the Comeback Kids, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!